Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandez, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
we're about to review Murder on the Moose Jaw Express, parts 1 and 2. It's a two-parter from Laverne and Shirley's 5th season. It is one heck of a ride. Part 1 was written by Richard Rosenstock and Jack Lukes. Part 2 was written by Charlotte M. Dobbs and Jeff Franklin, and everything was directed by Joel Zwick. We got some facts about them coming later on. Here's what the episode's about. The girls find themselves headed on the ride of a lifetime when they're named the co-winners of a shot slogan contest, alongside Lenny and Squiggy, who come in second. The foursome found themselves on an express train over Easter weekend to open a new shots brewery in Moose Jaw, Canada, but there is chicanery afoot. The girls have barely settled into their private compartment when a man bursts in, tells them to trust no one, hands Shirley some microfilm, tells them both to beware the bald man, and drops dead on the floor of their cabin. When they get a porter, the body has disappeared, but they take the warning quite seriously. Dodging bald men left and right, the girls who find themselves sipping poisoned cocoa, wearing luggage or clothing, and trying to eat microfilm as they try to survive their trip. When the boys get kidnapped, the girls realize they'll have to do their all for the American space program, Lenny and Squiggy, and each other to save the day. So what did you think of this one?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was way too much fun. That was way,
Yeah.
way too much fun. Absolutely delighted. It is. And okay, so I watched the episode again today to do up all the notes, because we watched this actually months ago for a watch along before we even started on we got to this point in season 5 actually. My mom called this out later and said, "Oh, now it's become an Easter egg hunt." And I realized why the silly opening, because they have to hunt for clues.
Yeah. Everything connects. This is my favorite two-parter in the whole show. My absolute favorite. It is balls to the wall wildness. They have so much fun. They do so much stuff with the concept. They combine and actually involving mystery here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easily predictable mystery at all either. They combine Go ahead.
I did. Okay, so when we watched it, I do remember that I called it.
Yes,
when,
you did.
but that being said, that was also because I was like super like gung ho and ready for it.
Yeah. I didn't the first time I watched it, but the first time I watched it, I was like a teenager. So, honestly, the mystery is involving. It's absorbing. There's a real sense of danger here.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely believe that anybody could die. We actually are led to believe that Shirley dies for a second there.
Mm-hmm.
And you believe it. You believe the hell out of it. And then Laverne doesn't give a shit. She's ready to murder.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
She does not give a damn.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, that whole second half is so exciting and funny. And I mean, this is one of the best collection of like gags and scenes that I feel this show has ever done. I mean, it is top tier for the whole series for me. And it obviously some would say, oh, that's just because it's a murder mystery, but it's even just the comedy. Like, it doesn't have to be a corpse that, Lenny and Squeaky are trying to interrogate. The idea of what they do and mess up and how, just their delivery of all that is funny anyway, even if the guy was conscious and reacted to them.
Yeah, exactly. There is a feeling here that everything was thrown into one delicious pot, and for once it worked brilliantly.
Yep.
You have the boys doing the goofy comedy, you have the girls doing goofy comedy, you have sight gags, you have pratfalls. Like I said, legitimate danger, legitimate mystery, great staging, even though, once again, they do not leave a soundstage to film this.
Right.
This is all stock footage we see of trains, and yet it works.
Right. Oh, stock footage, by the way, that is, I believe, the incorrect train. I'm going to have to do, I'll maybe do some extra research about this, but my mother, when watching this, pointed out the Southern Pacific Railroad is the diesel engine they have in the front, which she mentioned that was the line that she and I took when I was 3 years old to go down to California when the last time I went to LA. When I was a wee little boy.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that's completely incorrect stock footage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To be real. Because, they've repurposed a lot of stock footage to do odd things with in this show. In the end, that's all right because it works.
Yeah, it works.
In this case, most of the time.
Yeah,
Most of the time, most of the
I'm
time.
just one of those detail people that loves making everything accurate, and
Yeah.
it's not even about being anal retentive. It's that those types of attention to
Yeah.
details like makes me really happy. And this is just one of those cases where it's like, okay, that's kind of it's a cute problem because when it's cheap or it's Hollywood or it's TV or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like chuckling about the
Yeah.
helicopter and Where Eagles Dare, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, we did point out. I think they used a footage in New York in not quite not in festival that had footage of the World Trade Center in it.
That's right.
I think.
I think it was either the
Yeah.
World Trade Center or it was we at the very least we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Actually as of this recording, that's the next episode I have to edit, so I will I will
Yeah.
find out soon.
Yeah, very soon you'll figure out what the heck we were talking about, like back last summer, last fall.
Yeah, I
probably.
think it was last September.
Um,
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. A year has gone by. I'm actually like really proud of everyone here, even Lenny and Squiggy. Okay, what's your favorite slogan? What's your favorite slogan here?
Between the
Shot
two,
good
I
beer
I like Shirley's. Yeah. The all my
Yeah.
women drink shots, it dulls the pain. It's here's the catch with it. It's
Yeah.
funny in the way a Kevin Smith joke circa 1996 is. You cringe at it, but you still find it funny, and then you hate yourself for laughing at it.
Yeah. It's kind of vaguely, it could go either way as to what kind of pain's getting dulled here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
is it
So, yeah.
is it a sexual pain, quote unquote? Is it a my honey had a bad day, the pain of having to listen to the two of them, it's like all my women drink shots, it dulls the pain because they got to live with me, I mean, what is I guess
Yeah, either option feels very squiggy. So-
exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We see Squiggy several times trying to get his dates drunk, so we'll put out for him.
Right. Which by the way, folks at home, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. We get horrible examples of this happening later in canon, so we'll get there. But yeah, don't do that. It's less of a Lenny thing, even though he mentions in his character profile that Casablanca Records put out that he likes drunk women. Drunk women who open to ideas, or
Oh,
something like
goodness.
that was what his profile said. But but it doesn't. It very much feels like a Squiggy kind of slogan.
Mm-hmm.
And Lenny would just eagerly nod his head at that. Yeah, it's a great idea, Squig. Yeah,
Because that's
The fact
just
that-
Lenny. That's just a Lenny.
yeah. The fact that Mr. Schatz probably approved of this says a lot, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it do.
Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, and then we move on to Frank and Edna and the little Easter egg hunt for the girls. So that firmly puts us in late to mid-spring here. It's Easter weekend when they go to leave on this train trip, and this is apparently a tradition that Frank has been throwing for them for years.
Oh, and
which is
Laverne's
funny in
face
of
of
itself.
Laverne's face of annoyance when she has to do the thumper and the bouncing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Hopping's great though. The hopping's a great little physical stunt.
Uh,
Of course, the money gets them going.
oh yeah.
Money's what gets them moving.
And yeah, I have to mention, by the way, in the dialogue, my mom and I both made this observation is Edna calling them our girls.
Yeah. Look at our girls. That's so cute.
Yeah, our girls officially opening a new Shots brewery. It's like, oh, that's so sweet. It's so cute. And I just, and I was waiting for Laverne. It's like, she called us ours. It's just, I adore it. Yes, Edna is part of the family now. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And Shirley's part of the family. Edna's part of the family. The family circle is widening, but intensely and strongly committed to each other.
Hmm.
The circle has strength in it. I really like that. It's really nice.
Yeah, and I do love the response to It's like, how did you know they were there? You put them in there every year. Of course I do. It's tradition. Oh man,
That's very frank.
it's
That's
so
very
frank. Yep.
I love that feeling that once Laverne and Frank were alone and they only kind of had each other. Now they have all of these people in their lives.
Yeah, that's
That's really
yeah.
sweet. Yeah, yeah. We got a really great hello gag here. Really great hello gag. Once we get aboard the train.
It's practically germ free.
Hello. I love the way that stage and the boys in their stupid detective outfits. Squiggy's traditionally Sherlock Holmesian.
Yes. Oh yes.
Lenny is kind of an Watson, but there's definitely a more Victorian flavor to his dress.
Yeah. Oh, and that'd be so them, is that they would get something kind of close enough. It's not quite
Yeah.
it's not quite there, but it's close, it's close enough.
Yeah.
And I love that Squiggy's got Miss Marple caught on his sleeve there.
Yes, yes. Did you pack an old lady?
Got that line. Oh, that's so good. Oh,
My dear Satan Mother the Battle Axe. There's a lot of great Squiggy lines in this episode.
yeah. Yeah. And where you find a mystery, you'll find Sherlock Squigmon. So join me this week, won't
And
you?
Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss.
Oh, and the Lenny Dr. Seuss. The Lenny Dr. Seuss. Oh God. It's
God.
yeah, your heart's melting over Lenny saying that, isn't it?
Yes, yes, because it's very young. I can absolutely imagine him reading Dr. Seuss books.
Oh yeah, I
Which
totally
is
can see that
probably
too.
what his reading level would be. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
imagine him hunkered over the little chapter book reading it. It's like, oh, so cute. Anyway, brings about the first of our series of cameos and small mini roles with this older lady.
Mhm.
We got a bunch of guest stars in this episode, over 7.
Yes.
A lot of familiar faces.
Mhm.
Yes.
The thing I was going
Yeah.
to say about the old lady that is actually a female impersonator. That is a well-known female impersonator, Charles Pierce, who is a stand-up comedian and did this kind of role. Famously did Betty Davis impersonations in the 80s for like postcard
Oh.
sets and things like that. Yeah, so we'll get to that, I think, a little more when we start talking about all the different actors and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to call it out early so that folks are like, it's like, do they know? Or are they just trying to be cute? It's like, oh no. We caught on to something, and we went and looked it up.
That's cool. That's very cool. So then we start moving to this mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Laverne wants to ride that iron horse straight to Smut Mountain.
Mm-hmm. God.
Shirley does not want her to because Laverne wants to go make out with a random guy every time they go through a tunnel.
Which
It's very
I
Laverne.
see problems with that in multiple ways, because A, you have no idea if they're going to be a good kisser. B, the sensory deprivation means that if there's any problem with their breath, you're really going to feel it. And C, pickpockets. Hello.
Yeah. Also, somebody who would gladly kill you for your money
Yeah.
quite easily.
Yeah. Or
Quite easily.
you might even get really unlucky and you run into George Romero's Martin.
Oh man, Martin. Oh, that's a deep cut.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on, man. You know that's in my top 5 vampire movies.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's a good vampire movie. That's a really good vampire movie. For those who don't know, you gotta look it up. Look it up. It's worth it.
Yes, it's pretty dark, but it's a good movie. If you're into horror that thinks, that's definitely one of them.
Oh yeah.
But
Definitely.
anyway, also complimentary coffee. I love the line that they say, that Laverne says. It's like having breakfast in bed, except it ain't breakfast and we ain't in bed.
So they're trying to embrace the luxury of what's going on, but have clearly never experienced real luxury. It's the same kind of vibe they had going on when they went to the Hotel Pfister back in season 2 for Honeymoon Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
This is like really, 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 really fancy stuff to them, being able to drink coffee right in the middle of the afternoon in the train compartment.
Right.
It's kind of sweet.
And then, of course, the thing starts to shake and the
Yep.
cups start shaking and it's like, yep, yeah, you kind of want to sit down when you have that.
Yep. And that is a classic little bit of physical comedy.
Yep.
for the show.
Oh god, I wonder how many
Yeah.
grips it took to shake the walls and the floors.
That's a good question. Probably, I guess, at least 5,
Yeah,
6 guys
yeah.
down there. Probably. That's one heck of a big little set they had to build there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty wide.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of surface area to cover.
Yep.
Ah,
As I said, this is actually a very chilling mystery when our fellow arrives and entrusts the girls with the microfilm and croaks on them.
mm-hmm.
This is actually genuinely scary in a way because it kind of it plunges the episode deep into kind of like a fantasy feeling and a comedic fantasy feeling as many episodes do. But it's also, like I said before, deadly real.
Mm-hmm.
It genuinely feels like somebody could die here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. But yes. So the guy dies. They run to get the porter, and who's our porter?
Scatman Crothers.
Heck
He's
yeah.
got the shinin.
Yeah, he has a lot of fun with this part.
Oh, he does. My mom commented, if anybody's good at this kind of humor, it's him. And
Yep.
yeah, and she had to comment, he's totally in step with them, and they're really in step with him. Like there's this wonderful, he just chews it up. It's so good.
Yeah.
And I also love that he's also partly disbelieving because he's like, I'm too old for this crap. I can't believe
Yeah.
I every trip's the same. Play a trick on the porter, get a big laugh. I hate this. I should have been a bus driver.
Yeah.
Bus driver, no,
Yeah.
don't take nothing from nobody. And yeah, I should have been a bus driver. You dingalings on this train, you drive man insane. He's
just done with them.
exactly. He's totally done with it, which I like as a bit of a difference to it. It's sort of like,
Yep.
I'm choosing to believe this isn't real to an extent because if it is real, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah. He's been through enough in his career where it's like the glamour has worn off. People are ridiculous. He just wants to go home.
Exactly. Oh, he's so good. Yeah, and as you're saying, like I love the way it reminded me of in a ways of some of the kills in Hot Fuzz, particularly the Tim Messenger death.
Yeah.
Where it's like everything's funny and
Yeah.
everything's a laugh, and then suddenly kabam, there's this violence that
Yeah.
takes place. Yeah, and we'll get back to that guy as well at some point because he does appear. I mean, the corpse appears later, and
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll get back to that actor. But yes, we also have seen him before, and
Yes.
rather recently. So
They do. He does a good job of playing a body.
he really
He does a very good job of
really,
pretending he is dead
yes,
while everybody lugs him around like he's extra luggage.
it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And so the whole body disappearing thing I thought was really cool. The way they did the disappearing body, as you're saying, adds this like it's already moving into this fantasy magical sort of feeling like, this isn't the real world that we're in anymore. And so the body disappearing really elevates that a bit, which I thought was really cool.
Yes. We are in the thick of an actual mystery, and the show hammers home that, yep, this is dangerous. Yep, watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could happen. So then we move on to the dying train, or the dying car rather.
Oh, but
Yeah.
don't forget.
You're
We
missing-
can't forget Mr. Conductor. Did you catch the joke about his name?
Conrad?
John
No.
J. Ripper at your service. John like Jack.
Oh, Jack the Ripper. Yeah. That was good.
And they even do this
And-
little like zoom
yeah.
on the reveal of the ticket clipper as he pulls it out of his pocket.
Yeah. That's Conrad. Isn't that Conrad Janis? Otherwise?
Yes, it is. That is Conrad Janis.
Yes. And that's why I said Conrad. It's like, oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's Conrad Janis, perhaps best known as Mindy's dad from Working Mindy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a hop, skip, and a jump for him to go from the Mork set over to Laverne Shirley sets. That little cameo.
And what's kind of cool is he was actually an actor in various suspense and mystery shows over the years.
Oh, that's cool.
He was on various episodes of suspense, like even back like in the early 50s, like in 52, 53. And
Oh, man,
he
that's
also was
fun.
in Airport 75. I'll get into this so we don't have to worry about it later. He also was later in Murder, She Wrote, but
Oh,
one of his bigger roles around the time that they did this was he played a palindrome in Quark in the late 70s.
Quark. Quark is a cool show. I have seen bootlegs of Quark. It's fun.
Nice.
Oh man, that's cool. Yes, but the girls encounter him. They try to beware the bald man, and we cut to Lenny and Squiggy in the dining car, trying to pick up another guest star.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Charlene Tilton.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The what is it? Yeah, that's right. We're a pair of private dicks. I believe it. Um,
I can't believe they got away with that joke.
oh man.
The
You,
lovely Charlene was in the middle of playing Lucy Ewing on Dallas at the time. It's pretty likely that the reason why she shows up here is because Gary Marshall kind of quasi discovered her, put her on Happy Days. That's what got her on Dallas. So she came over, popped in, and did this favor for him. And
yeah.
she looks good doing it.
And she not only has played Lucy Ewing at the time, she would also be. She also was there for 2012 through 2014 for the Reboot Quill series as well. So
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. That was a really good show, by the way. That was really good.
cool.
When Larry Hagman died, they obviously couldn't go on with it because once you lose JR, you kind of lose the plot. But
Yeah.
it was really good while he was still with us.
Right on. I'm not a
Yeah,
Dallas
but
guy.
there's a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not a Dallas
Okay.
guy, but that's okay.
I'm omnivorous when it comes to pop culture.
I have noticed
I've
that.
watched all
It's
stuff.
very, very impressive, I have to say.
Yep, so I know all the little. I know various little things. I watched it when I was a little kid, which I probably shouldn't have done. My mom was so off. She watched Dynasty too.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this explains so much, and I love it.
I did not sleep early. Never needed much sleep as a child. So 5 hours and I was ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah, I also had the neon disease. That's true.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I love that the boy's idea of sophistication is ordering rum and Bosco. Keep your thumb out of it this time. All Squiggy's little one-liners here. So's my mother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're a repulsive little man. Oh yeah. Well, so's my mother. Oh gosh.
They're both funny and Squiggy laughed at that. It's like, boys.
Yep.
Oy
Oh, that's so
vey.
them. That is very Beavis and Butthead, but in a sweeter
is.
way, a sweeter-ish way.
Yes, very much so.
But yeah, no, and actually that's something I think to bring up as we're going through the synopses is that the boys are definitely a big part of like how this has got like, they're pushing like sometimes like 5 to 12 gags a minute in this episode.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes from the way they use the boys so well in this episode. They're funny and goofy, but there's a certain maturity and seriousness that they do take the situation. And it's and also because as it's later kind of confirmed, for once one of their fantasies that they often it's like, oh, we're gonna do the thing, it actually kind of comes true for them because they actually are helping to solve the case.
Yeah, we've seen that sometimes they will fantasize and dream about the way things will be, and they'll try to make it come true, and it will not work out for them. It's horrible what happens in Why the Fireman, and here it's much more exciting and thrilling and comes out much better for them. So for once, they do indeed get to live one of their harebrained fantasies of being a couple of cool dudes who get to save the day, or they come close to saving the day. They try to save the day.
Yeah, I mean, well, there is, well, not to get too far ahead, but there is the bit of one of them. I think it's Lenny, right? Bob's the villain on the back.
Yeah. He does do some yeoman work. Trying to save the girls, and Squiggy tells Laverne directly that Lenny's working hard to try to save her butt, but we'll get there soon.
Yeah. Goodness.
But yeah, you have to bring up My Little Drain Pipe.
Oh my god.
Oh god, it's so dumb.
Oh man.
And of course, I'd rather be boiled than oil. Whatever gets you through the night.
Oh my god. I would guess you through that. Oh, so Lenny. Oh,
and then the girls come into the dining car, and there is one bald man after one bald man after one bald man.
That the bit with the fezzes freaking kills me every time.
Yeah, the Shriners bit kills me was my exact note on this, and it is really great.
So good.
Is absolutely terrific. Girls finally corner the boys, get them to sit down. They blurt out that a man came in their compartment, and the boys think something dirty happened. The
Oh
Lenny bites
yeah.
his palm.
Oh yeah. He almost fully Ronnie's, and it's like, no, enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Laverne basically shuts it down.
Yep. And then they learn that something serious is afoot, and it's a case.
Right.
They are
It's
excited.
a case, and the waiter is listening in at this point.
Yep.
And
Yep,
there was
yep,
there
yep.
was also
The choreography here is really great.
the
As he
blocking.
leans in, fabulous blocking,
Yeah.
incredible blocking.
And I love holy mackerel, man. I got the hives. Yeah, he's getting all hives when he gets nervous. Is again, it's just such a Squigmanism.
Yes, that's a very squidgy thing. That's a very squidgy thing. The guy is dead.
That's not much to
to
go
go
on. Oh God! And then as they're leaving, it's like, boys, please be careful. You know, Laverne being sweet about it, and it's like, oh, what's it gonna do? Kill us? And they laugh their way out of the compartment.
Oh, which is the most them thing in the world. They're just totally, completely just like, yeah, we'll kill them. We'll get them first.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. They have a wonderful sense of capturing the the ego, you know, that of a dumb American that is, it's like, nah, it's not gonna happen. I'll beat him first. And it's like that's not how combat works, sir.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that Lenny has come close to facing combat. He is in the reserves. So
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah, and it's
you would know that's not like that.
and we figure by this point probably 61, right? 61, 62,
Yeah.
I think. We mentioned a few
Yeah, I
episodes
think
ago.
I think. It's somewhere around 62, 63, I think. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Oh man. But yeah, so we have the next cameo appearance following so this is the character of Colonel Calabac. And of course, to my absolute lack of surprise, my father already was aware of this actor. I said, "Oh, have you heard of a Wilfred Hyde White?" And it was like, "Oh yeah, from My Fair Lady," because my dad is awesome in that. He watches, you know, every spy movie, every war movie he can get his hands on. He watches all these Asian action films and thrillers, but yet he also, when he was growing up, loved a bunch of musicals. But
that's delightful.
But yeah,
it's
so
very your family, and that's very you, and though you don't know that in a way.
Yeah, I mean it's accurate though. Yeah, because I mean, you know, we were just talking before recording about we were talking about West Side Story, and I love I love West Side Story, and I love you know, a lot of musicals and stuff like that. Anyway, what I love especially about the performance as the character of Calabac, though, this old Britisher, and obviously, you know, and they're freaking out, and he's, you know, his wonderful voice. It's like, did you say one step and you'll die? And he's like, you're bald, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's true. What is it? He says, that's true, but I've also got a party that won't quit, or something like that.
Yes. He says, that's what he says. That's great. That was great.
When it goes on to, you know, have you ever killed a man? And he says, not since I was in India. Oh, what a charming place. What memories. And it suddenly gave me this flashback to this one Britisher I actually met like almost 20 years ago. It was this little old lady. She's probably passed away by now, because I mean, she was like well into her 80s, I think, by the time I met her. And I want to mention this anecdote because this is very cute, and this is very much of, because it's also that same, like, because Calabac is just, you know, he's lonely. He wants to, you know, make conversation on the dining car, because, you know, in the old days that was kind of what you did. You would going on the train together, you would socialize. And so at a Baha'i meeting, I meet this older British woman, and she had recently become a Baha'i, and I said, you know, hello, my name is, you know, Christopher Jayawardena, and she goes, Jayawardena. It's like, where's that name from? That sounds so lovely. And I said, oh well, my father's from Sri Lanka, and she goes, Sri Lanka, where is that? And I'm like, well, you know, it's a small like island, you know, south of south of India. You know, it's a little bit off the coast of India. And she goes, south of India, Sri Lanka. They goes, oh, you mean Ceylon? And it's and years later, and you know, I mean, like I said, there's a woman in her 80s. She remembers the empire when
she remembers the empire. Oh my lord! Oh wow, that's great.
And no,
that's
and
terrific.
It was great. It was so cute. My dad was tickled pink by the story too, so it was wonderful. And she was a
Adorable.
really wonderful, nice young woman or old woman.
Yeah.
Excuse me, young woman. Excuse me.
Elderly woman. Yes. Well, young
Here's
at heart. So that's
young
what
at heart.
matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she became a Baha'i because she said, "Oh, it's because she was told, do you believe in this? Do you believe in this? Do you believe in this?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, these are all things I've been believing in since I was in my 20s." And it's like I would have been a Baha'i decades ago. I just never heard of it. And it's like, oh, okay, here you go.
Aw, that's
So
lovely.
anyway,
That's lovely.
I'm kind
That's
of bummed
beautiful.
the Calabac character doesn't really come back in the second episode. I
Yeah.
would have loved for him to have had another brief appearance in some
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah. Yeah, for him to have turned out to be one of the agents
Mm-hmm.
on the American side would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he has to bust out an American accent. That would have been fabulous.
Oh
That
yeah,
does not
God yeah.
happen.
Yeah, that would have been wonderful. Yeah, so, such a talent to be able to
Yeah.
pull that off. Yeah, but I do love Laverne's line. It's like, well, he's got a lot of nerve going around bald.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, which is the most random thing in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, Laverne. Laverne, honey. And of course, Shirley's line about pillows.
yes.
Would be better if we fought with pillows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this
It's just-
this has some
Sure.
wonderful dialogue. It's
yes.
I think the fact that it is, four writers is a lot, but I think the fact that it's got four writers on it, plus, the whole writing room is probably working on this and throwing
Yeah.
ideas at it. There's so much good that gets be able to be
Yeah.
piled into this. There's a freedom and creativity and spark and
Yeah.
vibe, vibe, I mean, or verve,
Yeah.
to it. That,
Yeah.
like, I mean, even like, because we already know that goosebumps is not necessarily a bad thing in Laverne's case, that when she gets scared, she says to Shirley, "You're scaring me. Look at, you're giving me chicken skin." And,
Yeah.
that's it's such a good descriptor. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's these little touches and details throughout. It's so good. And around here, because we're getting about the middle point of the two-parter, it's so, yeah, it's ramping itself up so well. And yeah, as we get to the everyone fought with pillows, and then they're given their complimentary snack instead.
And Shirley thinks this is going to be a nice cozy moment, and instead she gets poisoned.
Yep.
Super
Oh,
poisoned.
the charades. Oh, the charades
Yeah.
to communicate it. Oh.
Poison. Poison.
Yeah.
Poison.
It's the coco's poisoned. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it took me about 50 seconds. The coco's poisoned.
Yeah.
My mom was literally on the edge of her seat at that point.
Oh, yeah, because like I said, the danger here is actually menacing. It really does menace you a little bit. And of course, Laverne, tries to get her best friend help, and this is right about where we cut off for the first part of this,
Mm-hmm.
with Shirley disappeared, gone.
Yep.
Disappeared,
Oh,
gone,
and-
not dead, gone from the poison.
Right. The reveal I forgot about when changing from part 1 to part 2 is the last scene we see is that even the porter pulls off his hat and reveals he's bald as well.
Yeah. He scratches his head, which makes it even more obvious. It's like, oh god, they're in such deep sneakers, as the old colloquialism goes.
Yeah.
I love how they're surrounded by bald guys. At least at this point, the boys are not bald, so at least they know they can trust them. Okay, so now we sneak into the second part, and we get a very nice voiceover here. And do you know who does a voiceover here, Chris?
Well, I think you had to tell me. It was it's a certain young man, very talented. He was in this kind of rare obscure movie called Light of Day. Is my understanding.
We love Light of Day. Light of Day is our talisman at this point. Like it's gotten to the point where even Michael's and our fan circle goes, Light of Day. We all love Light of Day, basically. This is Michael doing a British accent.
Mhm.
One of the very first British accents that he, to quote him directly, bullshitted to to cover up the fact that this is him doing the voiceover. But he is the one who did the previously on here, and a very
That's pretty-
British accent.
It's very cool. I'm wondering what was the decision to do, unless it was like them rehearsing it, and so when they were rehearsing coming back and he just did that, and I wonder if Gary heard it and it's like, you got to do it,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it's like, are you gonna pay
Well-
me for another part? No, but you get to do a British accent. Yeah, sure. So I could just
Okay.
imagine that being
I was gonna say, Gary had everybody in the cast fill out what they could do with their secret talents and odd, unusual things that they could do on a sheet of paper, and then he filed it away, and they kept it for the writers to use. That's why Michael juggles several times. That's why he ends up playing guitar and writing songs, singing songs, and that's why he's doing a voiceover with a British accent. Because these are all things that he probably put down on a sheet of paper for Gary Marshall, saying, "I can do this."
Mm.
I wonder what else. I'm guessing Penny had to put down her tap dancing, which he already knew she'd do.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of stuff like that.
But anywho, so yeah, we get back in,
Yeah.
and so we get back into the scene, and we get back into the
Yes.
moment, and we pick up. It's like, believe me, of course I do, etc. He's trying to help. But one of my favorite lines of Scatman Crothers here is she chucks the cocoa that he offers her, which of course is the poisoned cocoa, and she goes, "That
Yeah.
stuff is poisoned," and he goes, "I know it's a mix, but it ain't poison. Come on."
Poor guy. You cannot help but feel sorry for Scatman Crothers' character during this two-parter. We said it before, we'll say it again. The poor guy is struggling with the most ridiculous day of his life. He's just trying to get through and trying to be helpful, and they do not want his help. Even when she wants his help, she doesn't want his help. To be correct
Yeah.
about that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just like, even though it's like pretty much him exiting for the rest of the episode, I mean, practically even he leaves with even just that little bit of the door gag of him trying to leave, and she's trying to keep him there, and just that was a big end to realize that it's like, God, the amount of like bits that they have in this episode is just phenomenal, and yet it's also like, people are in character. They're not shoehorning in anything. I mean, this is really good stuff that is really coming naturally. It's very, my mother commented, like, it is 100% old school Screwball. Like, this is a great kind of combination of like, Murder on the Orient Express, a little bit like The Lady Vanishes, and a little, so it's like, Agatha Christie, Alfred Hitchcock, and Billy Wilder, basically.
Exactly. And of course, you get quite a liberal dose of screwball comedy on top of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Laverne starts to beg God for help, and she asks God to deliver her anybody to assist her.
Yeah,
From
hello.
the boys. Hello.
and a response. The deal's off. Oh man.
Squiggy pushing off her aggressiveness with, "You're also demanding."
Oh man. Yeah, it's like,
And
hold
then
on to.
somehow.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
You got a rhythm going. You go.
And then in comes Lenny with the body. It's just like, how did they manage to find? They say how they managed to find the body, but it's like they did it so quickly, and they're so nonchalant over the fact that they're carrying around a dead guy, considering their horror of dead people earlier in canon. It's kind of amazing that they're just nonchalantly hauling around this dead dude.
Well, I wonder if, okay, so two things to that. The first is, I'll answer the direct question, then add an extra point onto this in general. But the first is, I do wonder if it's that they're afraid of dead things conceptually, but when they're actually confronted with it, they're like, oh, that's it? Okay. And just move on with their day. Some people are like that. I mean, it kind of happens to me when I see like roadkill. It's like, I don't like roadkill conceptually. I don't like to be around dead things, but it's like, I mean, I took a walk the other day and I passed by one of the voles in our neighborhood, had been flattened, and when I say flattened, I mean, it was, I could barely recognize the shape of the thing except for the tail, Anyway, so I'm wondering if it's kind of like that. The second thing is them nonchalantly picking up a dead body. Here's what I figure. These two have somehow, despite the fact this episode was done, probably we figure shot around 1979, I suspect that they actually are time travelers from a mid-1990s point-and-click Sierra adventure game.
You realize how much money I would pay to have Lenny and Squiggy as characters on in a poker nights game type of game?
Oh yeah.
You know how much fun they'd be? The idea of them going and playing poker with Ash Williams and Brock Samson
and don't forget the heavy weapons guy.
and that Weapons guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With GLaDOS watching over them all.
uh, I'm going to call your bluff.
It's over now.
I don't bluff. I just tell the truth all the time. And it's like, but you just lied right there. I've seen you lie. I know I'm terrible at it. See, that was the truth. Anyway, but yeah, so they come up with the body, and this is again where Shelley Lipking, the poet from the Beatnik show, appears
Yes.
as the corpse.
Yes.
Dude, as you pointed out, the dead body acting here is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I've because I've done it. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
You have to like flatten your face. You have to you have to be very careful with your breath. So you have to kind of slow down your breathing very carefully, take small, slow breaths. It's rough and all that. And so they do an amazing job. It's very well choreographed and coordinated. I especially love when they pop in with the body, Laverne screams and Squiggy gets on her case. It's like, you crazy? Screaming at poor Lenny like that? And Lenny even,
Yeah.
I think he covers the ears on the corpse, right?
Yes. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Which is very much the most him thing possible. Like, he just doesn't think of his ears, he thinks of the corpse's ears.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, the poor thing. But that's very Lenny. It's dumb but sweet.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely 100%. And then Squiggy points out to Laverne that he's been to hell and back for you.
Yep.
I don't have to say it, do I? I don't have to say it, do I, people? Do I?
Just go ahead and say it.
We know this to be fact. He has been. Like, we think about all the things that the boys have done for the girls, though not without, without payment.
Yes.
There's a lot of them.
That's why they're so easy to start prepping, after she says, guys, I could just kiss you. And it's like, well, I could, but I won't.
Pucker. And then Lenny, Squiggy puckers, Lenny bites his palm, and then he pouts.
Yep.
Because, of course.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, I noticed, so this is where, because this is at the point that Jeff Franklin's taken over the writing, you definitely can feel the bodiness start to come in. Because, like, there's that Finding Cheryl, like, I'll do anything. And then he gives them a line, they both give her this expression, and she's like, what about that? And there's also a line, and I'm not sure if I misheard this, and I think it's Squiggy says to Laverne, between me, you, and the birdcage.
I think that's what he says.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what he says.
I'm trying to remember if birdcage is a euphemism.
For jail, usually.
Okay. Gotcha.
Usually for jail.
Okay. That's, right, that's why it's familiar. The big birdcage.
Yes. Actually, I was actually thinking of La Cage aux Folles, which is entirely different. Totally different thing. That's what popped into my head.
Yeah, I think that's what first initially hit mine too, but
different reference points. Okay. Who looks? That was a great line. Another great line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they need a description of Shirley, and she bops them like, Shirley. You've seen her all the time. God, but okay, so this goes into leaving the boys alone with a dead body in a room.
I know. Would you do that?
No. God, no. Fuck no.
Future Chris, censor this. Anyway. Oh, God.
Oh, man. They go straight into interrogating it. I mean, it's like, sure. And when I get through with you, you're going to wish you was alive. Take it easy, Squig.
I love it. That's so great. And of course, they immediately go into good cop, bad cop.
Yep.
Immediately. And immediately Lenny is good cop and Squiggy is bad cop. They don't even talk about the roles.
You can't argue with results.
And Laverne is determined to be gutsy.
Mm-hmm.
She's determined to be brave here. She actually tries to eat the microfilm here. The timing on that pee joke is amazing. We have to bring that up.
Yes, I know what I'm gonna do. Goes in the bathroom. Flush.
Yep. Peas.
Comes out. Okay, that's done. Now what am I gonna do with this?
Yep. Fabulous.
It's so good. Yeah. That there again, just there are dynamite zingers throughout this episode. This is, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for testing, I would say this is a runaway with my favorite of the season.
Yeah, that's up there for me too. This is a really, really strong season, though. I'm gonna have a hard time picking a top 5.
Oh God, yeah.
And once again, I have to bring up the fact nobody was watching the show at this time.
Yep.
No one was watching it. It drives me nuts. Oh, and then more people watch season 6, season 7, and even season 8 than this season.
Still just,
It's just
wow. The world, man, the world.
oh yeah, all because people wouldn't turn the damn dial
Mhm.
and then turn the dial again because people would just sit there on the sofa. They didn't want to get up and turn the channel.
Yep.
Oh,
Anywho,
God.
but yes, I mean, so speaking of them being thrust into ratings poverty, we have Shirley suddenly miraculously return inside luggage, naked but in luggage.
Yeah, poor Shirley. But she also has the gumption and the nerve to get out of the baggage compartment and then kind of make herself a outfit out of a suit bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's brave. That's brave in her own way.
Yeah, I'm tired, I'm hungry, and naked in somebody else's suit bag.
Yeah. The fact that, though, it shows how much business these people mean. They actually ripped her clothing off. They cut her clothing off of her body,
Mm-hmm.
which is really horrifying to think of in multiple ways.
And when
Awful.
we get to the conclusion, there's going to be a kind of interesting side note to take on that, but I don't want to do that for fear of because again, I mean, obviously, pretty much anybody who's going to listen to this will have seen the episode. They're going to know where we're going with this, but I just want to make sure, just in case, because we're doing the synopses beat by beat, we don't get it too far ahead of ourselves. But I have a thought about cutting the clothing. But I do agree. It, regardless of the motivation, it is a terrifying scenario to wake up naked as a jaybird in the baggage compartment.
And the relief, the hug that happens is terrific. It's really wonderful. It's so well earned.
Yep. And that,
Really well.
and then we have the whole Laverne, trying to be, I'm a bald killer, and that's very Jeff. It's very Jeff writing because of the way they argue, and what is it? The angel with an L versus the Stumpy or whatever.
Yes. Stumpy Shirley, and of course the angel with the L. And the way she aggrandizes herself as seen through the eyes of the killer.
Right. And then even
hilarious.
and she even gets in character and is attacking Shirley, and it's good straight walking hussy. And I mean, my note here is Cindy has been treated like this since The Killing Kind.
Oh God, we haven't seen that. Unless you have.
Not yet. I have
haven't
watched a
seen
little
that.
bit. It's the problem is that I was trying to find the trailer for it, and the trailer is just the only clip you can find shows the opening, which is the rape scene, and I was like, yeah, I'm not posting that on the Night After Night Twitter.
Oh. I love that Cindy did an exploitation film, but it is really grimy, so you have to be careful what we post from it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we stick to Beware the Blob and Gas. Stick to the Corman, stick to the Larry Hagman directed Blob
And
satire.
of course, Bingo, things like that. She does a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
right.
stuff.
That's right. Yep.
She does do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and
Yes.
and speaking of just the carnage that is inflicted upon poor Shirley is grabbing her by the handle of the suit bag.
Yeah. Plastic sticking to you.
Oh God.
Plastic chip.
Oh
Die,
God.
bimbo, die was the line, by the way. Die, bimbo, die. That's just Laverne's ego going amok. It's really hilarious. Hope we have the angel with the owl will be spared. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's
Sorry?
it makes you wonder what would it be like to see Laverne DeFazio go dark and turn into some serial killer,
Yeah.
or something like that. It's I don't know, it's a little. I mean, this is around that time. Joe Spinell was around in Hollywood. Maniac was on its was a
Yeah.
couple of years away, about a year away from this, I think.
Yep. Honestly, we're gonna get there. You can absolutely picture the girls starring in really cheesy B movies and exploitation movies.
Oh yeah, like Tormented.
Yeah. Tormented. Tom Stewart killed me.
Tom Stewart killed me. Yeah, love it. Oh my God, I have so many notes on this episode. This is so jam packed.
So
We're at 55 minutes and we
I
were
know,
just
it's
getting
so
to the setup in the dining car for the reveal.
With great makeup on Shirley.
Amazing.
I don't know how the girls in canon are supposedly got all this on her.
Yeah,
but they did a good job.
I mean, that is a latex bald cap here, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah. We know, but still, we're allowed to just kind of shut it out, dream. Of course, Laverne could do this in 2 seconds. So.
Oh yeah, because it's Laverne and Shirley. It's a little magical.
Yes, it is. Just the tiniest little thing.
Is my skull on straight? Yeah. You know, most women look terrible without any hair, and so do you.
Oh, it's terrible. And of course, Winnie shows up.
Yeah, Winifred.
Kind of help him
Named
out.
Winnie. Yeah. The Miss Marple. Yeah. So in the credits, the character is called MacGuffin, and which
That's hilarious.
which is a nice little nod to Hitchcock. And
Yes.
okay, just to remind people who have been led astray by a certain game designer, the MacGuffin is not the anything that you want or the thing you think it is, but it isn't actually it. The MacGuffin is the thing that everyone seeks within the plot.
Yeah.
Just to clarify. Fuck you, David Cage. Future me, bleep that out.
Oh.
I'll swear at David Cage later.
Yeah. Anyway,
And,
back
on
on,
my
back
own
on
show.
tack. Back on tack. The double twist here they pull off is really terrific. Where we learn Winnie's true nature, and we find out what the heck is going on with the microfilm, and the girls get in even deeper trouble.
Yep, because they realize that the waiter was actually the good guy, and they've now knocked them out, and Winifred is going to try to murder them horribly.
Yep. It's genuinely a good twist.
Yeah,
It's a genuinely good twist, well handled, well directed.
Yep. Goodness. I love even the first thing that that Winifred slash MacGuffin says is, it's not polite to point when there's like, oh, you.
Yeah, it's great. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and Shirley's, holy moly, I hit a G-man.
Oh, I love that line. I love that line. The way Cindy delivers it. Both are beautiful. Absolutely perfect.
Oh. Yep. And
And
then yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
They end up being taken to the baggage car.
Mm-hmm.
And they learn that Lenny and Squiggy have been captured and bound, and they're sitting there, and we are treated to the absolutely adorable sight of Squiggy sleeping on Lenny's shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
which is really sweet.
And of course
You have any last words?
no, I can't think of anything offhand.
Yeah.
And I love the girls giving their own specific goodbyes. Goodbye, Lenny. Goodbye, Squiggy. And then Shirley saying goodbye, Leonard. Goodbye, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yes. Because that's what very about.
Mm-hmm.
Only Shirley calls the boys by their full names.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one who really calls Lenny Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely the only one who calls Squiggy Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew's my baby name, as you say. I think he said that in season 6 episode. We'll get there.
Aw, that is so cute. Oh man.
Yeah, it is.
So-
it really definitely is.
So now they finally explode the bad guys, psychometer,
Yeah.
by putting this on the strange taste in clothes, and you realize it came off the rack of Bloomingdale's. So here's the reason. Okay, so I want to stop here for a second because this is my theory. What if, and like I said, this is a what if. The chances are kind of 40-ish%. What if they didn't like Shirley's clothing, and the reason they cut him up,
Possibly.
and that was why it was a sort of a compulsive gesture.
Possibly. Makes sense to me. Honestly.
Yep. And then
I
Lenny
was
does
going
the
to
bop
say-
on our villain, and the big finale begins.
Yep. That's valiant work by the boys. They're trying. The boys are trying to protect the girls as much as they can. Lenny specifically is trying to protect Laverne. Shirley, probably more Laverne than Shirley, as Squiggy strongly hinted there. All of the dialogue here is so great, and yet there is a genuine feeling of danger and of suspense that the show absolutely goes whole hog on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's so exciting. It's so well choreographed. The whole stunt with the door and trying to throw them
Yes.
out, and actually, Shirley getting tossed around the side, and they do stage it in such a way it is believable that the reveal that comes later is completely possible. And
Absolutely. You killed Shirley, killed my best friend, and then Berserk button pressed. Berserk button press.
Berserk
Ooh.
button press. Yeah, I love the way that Penny even like tightens her jaw and slaps, and you could hear this brief moment. And I'm wondering if it's they couldn't use all the excuse me, the studio audio, because the audience goes crazy for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
almost like they're like having to go quiet, like shush, because they need to focus on it, or because they just cut it at that point because they needed more Foley.
Possible. It's possible, but I know the audience had to have gone nuts because it's absolutely plausible that Shirley dies there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely plausible. And, of course, the two of them are the ones who, they work together. They work together and bring about the happy ending here, which is very much a show moral, very appropriate for the two of them.
Yep. Actually, yeah, my note is that Shirley, it helps to drag him out and chuck him out. Okay, Future me's gonna have to bleep this again. Shirley Feeney ganked a motherfucker, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Do we never find out if that? Did we ever find out if she's dead or alive?
He is.
She's arrested. That's right.
Yeah, he is arrested and in prison. Yeah, they throw this in the
Yes.
tag scene. Yeah. And
Yes,
the little
yes,
hands,
exactly.
the little hands clapping, which
Yes,
is
Lenny.
which is Lenny. We figure we suspect is Lenny, I think, because I think he was wearing the white shirt, right?
Yeah, Lenny's wearing the white shirt. Squiggy's wearing a purple shirt, so that's how we know it's not Squig. But
That's right.
Squiggy's arms and hands are way heavier, way hairier. David was way hairier than Mike. Way hairier.
Sorry, Pax. I am sorry.
That's not an insult. It's just a fact of life. We're not saying that body hair ain't sexy. We ain't saying body hair ain't sexy. We're just saying he had a lot.
As I now look
So you
down
can
on
tell there's
myself, I
two
have
to
to
it,
say, from looking down on my own body, I then remember in our relationship, I then suddenly go, phew.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Oh, but yes. Yes. That you can tell that that's Lenny applauding them, even though he cannot unbury himself. And
Mhm.
that's, of course, the ultimate act of sisterhood here. They have kicked the ass of someone who tried to murder them. And they protected each other. And of course, I actually did note that clapping with the wife guy Len.
Yes, it is a wife guy Len. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, wife guy without a wife, Lenny.
And when we finally return to the to home for the tag scene, everyone, people are there to greet him. I did notice Carmine giving a kiss to both of them. He actually kisses Laverne first.
Yes.
But then they ask, how was your trip? And before they can even get started, Carmine interrupts and tells his stupid story. Then Frank interrupts and tells his stupid story. Then Edna interrupts and tells her stupid story.
Yeah.
I did also like that it sort of shows that the guys are trying to make themselves puff and can't let the girls have their moment. And even when it gets to Edna, it's like, yes, what is it, Edna? And, because it's what is it? It's the, he stopped somebody from taking 12 items through the 10-item checkout lane. And he charged full price to the mayor for showing up in the pizza bowl, and he was never able to confirm if that even was the mayor anyway. The guy was probably just trying to get out of pain. And Edna was able to get same day coal on the day they didn't deliver.
Yeah.
And it's I love they just tell their story and just go to bed and the camera dissolves and we're good.
Yep. I love the way they deliver that whole, whole story about what they did. How they almost died. Just very casually. They got their medal.
Mm-hmm.
They get to make a speech and all that stuff, and everybody's like, what? And they just calmly walk into the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Let them come to them. So that's like an ultimate capper on their badassery.
Mm-hmm.
My last note for this entire episode is, I love them in this.
Yes.
And so it is, and so it shall be written.
They are so good.
Yes, indeed.
Oh man. Okay, so that gets us to we've summarized the episode. We should probably talk a bit about the folks behind the camera because I do have notes.
Yes.
And we also have a couple of folks that are kind of significant to touch on here because both Richard Rosenstock and Jake Lukes, he has, I think, they both have at least one episode each between them that they're going to be getting onto on the show. This is one of two for Richard Rosenstock, who wrote Richard Rosenstock and Jack Lukes wrote part one, and Rosenstock kind of done like a couple of episodes here and there. The funny thing is he did the Fonzie's blindness episode of Happy Days.
Wow. That one still sticks with me years later.
Yeah. So his other episode comes for Laverne and Shirley comes up in season 6. So we will be getting back to him. He would also do 2 episodes for Mork and Mindy and work on the series as an executive story consultant, which is basically code for he's a writer in the room. He would create the 1 season of The Marshall Chronicles and recently worked on both Big Bang Theory and Arrested Development. And his consulting producer credits are also pretty vast. We'll get back to the next time we talk about him.
Yes.
So Jack Lukes, on the other hand, has 3 more episodes of Laverne and Shirley to go for season 7 and 8. He also did 1 episode of Charles in Charge, poor guy, and also was a bit player actor during the 70s. So he did a lot of acting, such as $6 Million Man, Beretta, and Lou Grant, and Laverne and Shirley. So it turns out the guy who co-wrote this first part was the security guard in Supermarket Sweep, and also one of the quote-unquote guys in Guinea Pigs. He will also show up again as well, so we'll be getting to talk about him again a little later.
Yes, indeed.
Then we have part 2 written by Jeff Franklin and Charlotte Dobbs. So Jeff Franklin, yet again, this is smack dab in the middle of his run as writer, with 1 more for the season coming up and 5 more total after that. He was also working on Bad News Bears around this time and will still be in Laverne and Shirley land for a little longer before he jumps to bosom buddies for a bit. And so Charlotte M. Dobbs, this is one of 2 gigs that she had on Laverne and Shirley, as well as her first writing credit. She also did an episode of Happy Days, 10 episodes of Santa Barbara in the mid-1980s, and 2 episodes of Down to Earth before it looks like retiring in the late 1980s. So we'll see her name pop up again in the nearest future. Joel Zwick, I mean, the man, the myth, the mensch, Joel did an amazing job directing this. I'm just so proud of him. This whole thing.
So great.
Like if ever I get a chance to talk with Joel, like this is the one. This is the one I want to talk shop about. I mean, there's so much good work, and especially with how he worked with the camera people to get like the different bits of coverage and stuff like that. And so anyway, so actor wise, we talked about Charlene Tilton, we talked about Charles Pierce, who was MacGuffin. Let's see. So I guess a quick update on Charles Pierce. He mostly a nightclub performer. The claim to fame was primarily impersonating Betty Davies. TV roles was like in Starsky and Hutch, Love American Style, Wonder Woman, and gets a couple of bits here and there before it seems like kind of retiring in like the early 90s, and sadly passed away in 1999 at a bit of a youngish age. Anyway, Shelley Lipking was the dead man we mentioned from Beatnik Show. So I already kind of did a whole big tirade about him, but he shows up in various TV shows, episode or 2, lots of TV movies, got a lot of indie movie roles in the last like 20 years and up to today, where he'll soon be seen in the film Losing Addison with Sherilyn Fenn, which will hopefully be coming out soon. But yeah, it's like, I think it's, God, I'm trying to remember who the lead is in that. I think it's like Anna Elliott Davis is in it and a couple of other Portland actors. Okay, so we need to make sure, because we already covered Conrad and Scatman, and Willifred Hyde White. So the last one I want to make sure we mention is the waiter. The waiter, this was his only role in Laverne and Shirley, but he was a longtime actor who got some rather diverse work. I mean, we're talking like Naked City, uncredited roles in the 50s, including like a walk-on in North by Northwest. He was in one of the Matt Helm movies. He's in Michael Cimino's Thunderbolt of Lightfoot. But most of all, he is Harcourt Fenton Mudd. That is Harry Mudd.
No way. Huh.
Isn't that cool? So
that is really cool.
So after this appearance,
oh man, that's so neat. I would not have guessed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it was familiar, but I couldn't place where. Now my mom was like, oh, it's that guy, and she couldn't place him, but she knew she had seen him in a ton of different stuff. And I mean, obviously, we watched a ton of Star Trek when it hit syndication on the Sci-Fi Channel. So yeah. But anyway, awesome. After this appearance, he continues working in various gigs, moves into voice acting, including regular roles on Gummy Bears, My Little Pony, Transformers. He even got to voice Unicron for one episode. But sadly, he passed away in 1986 at the age of 54. So that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, so that kind of covers all the folks in front of him behind the camera. And that's kind of our... We kind of spread it out a little bit through this episode, which is good because, we were focusing on particular points going through the episode. But yeah, so now like pros and cons, like, gosh, I mean, we've already talked so much. Like, what are we thinking here?
We love this episode. That's what we're thinking. We love this one.
Yeah, I think good one. I don't know if I even have any cons I can think of. At least I don't. I guess I don't want to.
There aren't any real cons. To be honest, there aren't any real cons. The way everything balances out is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's paced incredibly well. I mean, this was one I wouldn't be surprised if they worked on this script for a while. Like this may have been planned for like a season or two ago, and they finally nailed it this time. Like it just there's something about it that's really special.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a unique episode, beautifully directed, beautifully thought out.
Yep.
It's really perfect. Really perfect.
What are we ranking this then?
This is solid. This is solid. Yeah. You go first. Actually, you go first. I know where I'm going.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna give this a 10 and call it good. I think
Yeah.
individually, I would maybe give them like an 8.5 or a 9 or a 9.5 maybe, but together taken as a whole, it's a perfect 10 for me.
It's a 10. It is a solid 10. It's inventive. It's fun. It's genuinely suspenseful. It's hilarious. It's well directed, well written, well blocked, well shot. Is really smart and genuinely surprising.
Yeah.
I know people will say the Laverne show can't be surprising. It can't be this inventive, and this episode blows all their bullshit right out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going for a full 10. Full double 10 on this one. I don't know if it's going to be my best episode of the season because we've got some really good ones coming up, and it's in close competition with Testing.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's another 10.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. All right.
But it's gonna be at least number 2 on my list.
Right. Unless we decide to go for the tie, which it's gonna be such a cop out if we do that. But
if we have to, we have to. That's how strong this season is.
It's true. I mean, hell, that's what happened to me back in 2010, where I couldn't pick a favorite movie of the year because I loved both Enter the Void and Scott Pilgrim too much. So I said, okay, I have an art house choice and a commercial choice.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a cop out when it actually and truly is something that you feel. So it's not a cop out if it's.
You just gotta look. You gotta look into your heart. You need to pull the knife out that has been stabbed into you by some wacko spy that's trying to steal documents and sell them to the highest bidder. And you gotta look. You gotta pull the wound open. You watch out for the blood. There's gonna be a lot of blood, and you gotta look into your heart, and you gotta ask your heart. You gotta speak to it. You gotta speak to the little Dennis Quaid that's in there and say, "What are you thinking?" And if it says a tie, then that's it.
Yeah, honestly, I know that you're going for your Brando impression, but yeah.
And it's funny because
look at how they massacred my episode. That'll be season 8. Anyway.
Oh God! I mean, I was trying to think of the look into your heart. Then I was like, I really shouldn't go there because even though I know that line, I've never seen Miller's Crossing. I'm waiting for your gasp. But
I'm mildly shocked. But
yeah, it's one of those. My dad and I just never got around to it. Anyway, but yeah, so this is a great episode. We enjoyed it immensely. We're total dorks about it, obviously.
Yes. Honestly, we loved it. We loved it.
And if you haven't seen it, we know we've spoiled everything a bunch for you, but we haven't spoiled the entire thing. The experience of watching this repeatedly is great. We had a blast watching this for the watch along. That was quite a while back by the time this episode goes live, but yeah, it is an absolute delight and highly recommend it. And yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any other closing thoughts on this episode?
Yeah. No, I'm good. It's an incredible episode. It should be viewed and watched in its entirety.
Worship the Moose Jaw Express at the church of your choice.
Hail Moose Jaw Express! Hail Moose Jaw Express!
All right, cool. Well, with that all out of the way, then thank you so much, everyone, for not listening to Night After Night. I almost said watching Night After Night, but you probably listen to the show rather than watch the show. So, if you would like to know more, please get in touch with us. We can be found on the Face of All Books and Tumblr and a whole bunch of other places as Night After Night Pod or as Night After Night PC on Twitter. And please definitely consider dropping by our Patreon. We have goodies and perks and all that kind of cool stuff. And we'd just be super really appreciative and we would love you a bunch.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's about it. So for some reason, it's feeling kind of chilly over here. Lisa, what are we covering next?
More Sergeant Plout, baby. Vicki Lawrence returns, and the girls try to jump out of an airplane and prove that they can take care of themselves out in the field just as well as any male soldier can. This is survival test.
Hell yeah, American!
America! America!
All right, bye-bye, folks. Thanks again.
Bye, all. And remember, don't drink any cocoa at all, especially the poison kind. And beware every bald man.
Yeah, how dare they be bald?